as you may see in the thumbnail, I've got to get this big beast out and remove all those supports. So I thought I'd have a little chat while we do it. I've got some of my own music that I'll probably stick on in the background. As you can see there, that is the start of what could possibly become a print farm, but only if my wildest dreams come true. Now, I'll try and chat as if I've got an audience. I can't imagine too many people will drop in. They don't nowadays. But basically what I do is I create hue forges. Now, hue forges, let's try and get that without being backlit, are these little designs that you actually 3D print. Let's take you away from that light for a second. As you can see, that prints in layers and kind of does an embossing, but what you can also do is make these lithophanes, and as you can see, you put that up to a backlight and a lot of the colour there disappears and you get to see a backlit version. So that's kind of what I do, but not all of them are like that. And sorry for the shaky camera at the moment, I will stick it in a tripod in a second. Not all of them are like that. This one is not backlit. It's just a piece of artwork that I've created myself. Oh, got someone watching. Let's see if there's any chat. Sorry, it's a pain. The chat doesn't stay on the thing. Right. Unfortunately, these are distance. I'm getting to that age now, as you can probably tell by the colour of my beard. That is a complete mess. Annie, I'm assuming that's Annie F. Hello, how's it going? Hope everything's okay with you. Now, let me put this in the stand so you can get a little bit more. Yes, it is. Excellent. Alright. So yeah, basically what I create are these hue forges, and they're all textured, fully. It's hard to really show on camera, which is the trouble, which is why I want to start a, in-person kind of market stall or something to sell these, so people, because my company name is called Touch My Arts, and it's because people are literally encouraged to come up and touch it, to feel that texture and everything as well. I think it could maybe be something to do for, the blind and stuff as well, possibly. Something that they can touch. But again, I don't have any experience with that. I wouldn't have a clue. And that's another backlit one. But I'm not going to hold it up to the window now. And as you can see, I do a lot of fan art. That's kind of what I do. But a lot of this stuff is my own designs. I create using Leonardo AI, which is the company I actually work for at the moment. So a lot of people obviously wouldn't call it art, it's AI slop, but at some point, it's physical object. Oh, there you go, I turned myself into a ghoul. Like I say, lots of fan art, and that's basically why I bought my printers, to do this. But obviously I've printed out some benches in the past to calibrate, or not to calibrate, to see what the printer's calibration is like. And nowadays, apparently I've got into 3D printing at the right time, because pretty much any 3D printer you buy is good enough nowadays, which is great news. So, and with Leonardo AI, they basically just released a feature that you can take a picture from 4 different angles. So I took a picture of myself, obviously, because I'm a massive narcissist, and with a little bit of magic turned myself into a 3D model. And I thought, you know what, it's kind of fun making these models. I did break the glasses here. Oh yeah, completely broke that bit now when I removed the supports, because that's not something I'm really used to, removing supports, and that, as you can see, is a very fiddly part. But anyway, that got me thinking, well, I've got 2 printers now. Let me turn that back around. See, that was my original printer there, the one with the big alien in, and that's what we're going to be removing the supports from today. And that is my first time of, as you can see, it's almost maxed out the size of the printer. It has actually maxed it out on the flat plane, but with it I could go a little bit more size, but obviously I couldn't because I'd have made the model too big for the flat plane. And I've got a Huforge that's just finished on that one. Now this one here, as you can see, it's got the top box there that can fit 4 different color filaments in, and that feeds to that one. And this one, this is my new beauty. This one's got the color box down here, so it's got the 4 colors there. It also dries the filament, but also I can put 3 colors on the top there, so I can have up to 7 colors now, which is really adding a nice dynamic to my Huforges. But the thing is, now I can't always, so let's lift this up for a minute. Now I can't always be just printing Huforges, mainly because that's my filament collection at the moment, and that's my major limiting factor. I print with PETG, and most people print with something called PLA. Don't know what's going on with the shadows there, but it looks like there's something hanging out my nose. I assure you it's not. I just had to check myself then. No, it's definitely not. It's just I've got weird coloration on my stash. So basically I'm kind of limited. I can't really do full colours because a lot of the time I'm using the colours on one printer and I haven't got the colours to do a Huforge on the other one. So I figured, you know what, why not get into model making? You know, I'm a bit of a geek. I love models and all that kind of stuff, and I'm a massive fan of the Alien franchise. In fact, when I was 17, I got my one and only tattoo, which happens to be a Xenomorph. Now, I've never had another tattoo because this one turned out absolutely awful, and it's been there for like 30 years now, so it's a bit of a blob. That, I assure you, was a Xenomorph. Cost me £15 by Doc Price in Union Street in Plymouth. Like I said, I was 17, so I was actually underage when I got it, because you're supposed to be 18. Anyway, right, let's reorientate this, and I will check chat in a second. I'm sorry, but it doesn't stay on screen, so give me 1 second. So what you've got to do, basically you take this build plate off, magnetically attached to this bit here, for those who aren't, and as you can see, most of this, or not most of it, about a third of this is support material. And all you do is, this is quite satisfying noise apparently. I like it, and most people who have heard it do. Now, I've not tried taking a model this size off before, so hopefully it comes off pretty. Oh, so far. Oh, I'm hoping I'm not going to break any of the model off doing it. Hopefully it's just the supports that will break off. In fact, actually, let's get round to here so I can sit down and get a little bit more stable. And in fact, let me just try the chat quick. Yeah, it is satisfying. Yeah. I mean, in fact, let me get this one, because this is even better, because this will come off nice and easy. Oh, a little bit of purge waste there. Just a tiny little bit. It's called poop, and it goes down the poop chute. And ready? Oh, that popped off actually really easy. At the moment, it's a relatively new build plate, that one, so it comes off nice and easy. But that one's off now, right? And this one is a lot trickier, because like I say, this, well, I'll show you when it's off properly, but ooh. So like I say, this is literally a first for me, taking something off this massive. Yo, Chris! Yeah, long time, man. As you can see, I've moved on a little bit. I'm now into 3D printing. This is the first big model I've ever made. Usually I make Huforges, which are 3D textured bits of artwork, very thin, printed by layers. And I'm starting a business. So, yes, Touch My Arts. Yo, Dad! How's it going, man? But, like I say, this is a first for me, doing a big model like this. I did show off a couple of minutes ago. I've done, literally, I've done the test benches. And, where is it? Oh, I did a bust of myself that I made using Leonardo AI. I'll try and keep up with chat, but it is a bit of a pain. And like I say, we'll get this. At some point, I'm just going to have to. Hey! Now, right, as you can see, that has left a complete mess on that plate, but that's just the brims and stuff that help hold the supports down. So, yeah, let me just show you my quick setup now, because like I say, I'm starting my own business called Touch My Arts, and this is the basis of my business. That was the first printer I got, the Cobra S1, and that got me into printing. And then I've picked up this one here, which is capable of doing, well, up to 19 colours, but I've only got one colour box down here, so I can do 7 colours at once, easy for doing my hue forges. So yeah, basically I'm not really into making models and stuff, you see. Whoa! See the painting side of things. See, this is the thing with these models. This is basically a test run, just to see how that printer handled models. Almost nothing, mate. I'm not joking. I've not noticed any extra real electric kind of usage. It's basically, to me, it seems like leaving a light on all night. You know, it's that much electric, because basically all it really needs to do is uses a bit of electric to get the bed heated up and the nozzle heated up, and then it's basically just maintaining that heat. And it's yeah, it's just really not very electric consumption. And the machines, the first one I bought, it's the combo. I always buy the combos because I like to have the option to do the 4 colours. But basically with the first one I bought, that cost me 450 quid, and then I spent about 200 quid on filaments. If not a little bit more by now. And the second one only cost me 300 odd. I can't remember exactly what what it was into the 300, but I bought that one as a pre-order, so I got like £100 off. But by buying it as a combo, unfortunately I shot myself in the foot. So I just realised you're going to see half my face. Yeah, I shot myself in the foot because the combos were delayed. So I've had that one about a week. So like I say, that could be the start of my printing empire. But yeah, I mean, this one is quite intricate. This is what I mean. This is the first time I'm really going into it, and I've got these little wire snips, and basically we've just got to remove all these supports. And this is, well, people call it waste material. It doesn't really gel with me that it's waste, because without all these supports I wouldn't have this model here, if you get me. So it's not really waste. Yeah, you're going to chuck it away afterwards, but there are people that grind it up and turn it into new filament and stuff, but the machines to do that are like ridiculously priced. Right, I think what the first thing I'm going to do is just try and remove some of these bigger ones so I can kind of see a little bit more what I'm working with. I don't know if that's the correct way. I probably should have watched a video on how best to remove supports, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Oh wow. Yeah, and basically I use tree supports, and it literally grows the supports like a tree. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit popped out already. In fact, sorry, I was going to put some of the I know not everyone will probably be a fan, but I'll have a little bit of music on in the background. I don't even know whether it will come across, to be honest, to you guys, but so I went through a bit of a phase of creating music videos because obviously with AI, it's not easy. It still took me, you know, a day or two to make a video, but yeah, I still listen to a lot of it now. So that bit's right. That bit's gone. So if we get that bit there. Where else? Ah, right, it's attached up here as well. So that's what I mean. It literally grows off like a tree. So this bit, I didn't realise it because I was working on it this side, but it is actually attached to his face, and these aren't big enough to go around the big bits, but it's careful work as well, and this is trouble. So I'm getting to that age now where my glasses work for distance, but I've got to take them off for up close work. oh wait there, that broke away really easy from the actual finger there. Just by, giving it a little twist. Haha, right, okay. Oh, that one don't seem to want to go quite as easily. Alright. Maybe I just got lucky on a couple. Oh, no, yeah, that just came off its finger just like that. So that's what was actually attached to the model. Right, let's... You're looking well, buddy. No, cheers, Chris, man. At the moment, I'm not actually looking my best, believe it or not. I've let my beard go just a little bit. It's getting to the kind of stage where it's getting a bit straggly. And I haven't done my stash today properly, but I appreciate it, man. I'm definitely feeling good anyway. Even if I've got a bit of a sniffle at the moment. You know, the old summer cold. Oh, and like I said, I don't know if that music's coming across for you guys, but if it's not, probably for the best. Wait there, sorry, I wish it'd stay there. I have to wear bifocals, can't see shit no more. Yeah, I think I should have gone for the bifocal option, but I might just get a pair for close and a pair for distance. Because I literally just went to Specsavers to get my prescription like redone. You know, I had my eyes retested, and they did say, "Do you want some varifocals?" And I was like, "I'll just stick with distance, thanks." And I'll regret it because I spent shitloads on my glasses as well. Mind you, it was buy one get one free. So like I said, it's the first time for me. I kind of don't want to damage the model. Mind you, I can't see. There we go. That's trouble. If I miss a bit of chat, so I will check it every so often. Oh, what was that? It just came off. That was just another bit of support. Good. So this is actually quite scary because this took 14 hours to print. 10% infill with PETG. Wait, if I go that way again. No, I just broke it off from there. Oh, yep, there we go. Right, so that bit's done. Alright, it's actually not quite as hard as I thought. I thought I was going to be really kind of cutting into it, but basically if you get close to it and just do kind of a twist, it just pulls it away. I'm not going to assume that's going to happen everywhere, but we've almost got, in fact, if I snip, oh no, I haven't got it from this bit yet. Ah, yeah, there we go. Right. So we have his claw mostly released. I've just got to get his little thumb here now. Let's just check the chat again, because live chat. Oh, yeah. Well, see, I've been short-sighted since I was early teens, so I've always needed glasses for distance. But now, my close-up isn't any better, but I've always been able to see, you know, up to about there pretty well without glasses, and that's kind of what I'm relying on here now. But let's get this removed from his thumb. Yeah, because basically what I plan to do, now this has worked out, you know, I'm going full size. I'm making a 6 foot xenomorph and a 6 foot predator. And they're going to go in the back garden. And they're going to come out at Halloween to scare the kids. And yeah, I will, Chris, you said about painting earlier, yeah. See, I hadn't really thought too much about that, because I figured, you know, just sand it up a little bit and it's a model. But painting is probably something I'm going to have to get into at some point with some of the projects I want to do. So yeah, I'll probably have to learn how to use an air gun, and, you know, learn how to get the filler done, the sand, you know, all the bits that you have to do. Because obviously I'm a bit of a geek, so I'll probably end up making some, you know, cosplay stuff as well. You know, it'd probably be pretty cool actually to do a Colonial Marine outfit. You know, get the pulse rifle and everything, or maybe even a smart gun done. Right, so that is his hand completely released. This is going to take ages, but it's actually quite meditative. Oh, that's coming away from his leg quite easy. What's stopping? Ah, that's around his face. Let's get his face done then. Let's do a face reveal, shall we? Yeah, I downloaded this model for free from the Anycubic. I can't think of what it's called, like Maker Weld or Maker Online or something like that. So whether, you know, it's a model that could be sold or anything, I don't know. But to be fair, any kind of models I make, I'd probably want to keep them for myself anyway. Because like I say, the business I'm coming up with is to sell the Huforge and stuff, you know. I mean, yeah, I could do it online, but due to the medium, like I say, it really is art you've got to kind of touch to fully appreciate. Because like I say, it's in the textures and the lines, like, it all really comes into detail. So to do that, I'd want to do it in person. So I'm thinking of, you know, not necessarily a permanent market stall somewhere, but it's like I live in an area where there's lots of, you know, hippie markets and stuff like that go on. What was that? I don't know if that came up on mic, but I just had the weirdest noise in here. Oh, there's that scraping on there. Don't know if that's coming up on mic, but it makes the weirdest noise. Yeah, so I want to do, you know, geek fests, you know, like you know, DevCon and stuff like that for the fan art. And yeah, legally, technically, you're not supposed to sell it because you're making money off somebody else's artwork with fan art, but you know, until I get a cease and desist, I ain't too fast, because I'm not one for IP recognition. Basically, I think if you're silly enough to put an idea out into public's consciousness, then it's no longer your idea. You know, you've given it away. It's the same with me, you know. If I've seen people using my designs and stuff, don't bother me. In fact, I feel quite flattered that somebody's like something of mine enough to go on and be able to make a little bit of money off of it. Right, well, let me do a quick chat check. So I do apologise, like I say, if I'm a little bit slow, but it doesn't stay up on chat. Oh, they said its age. Yeah, it is for me. Like I say, I'm almost 50 now, so I know I look almost 60 with the grey, but it is what it is. Near far makes no difference. I'm freaking blind. Yeah, happens so quickly. Yeah, so I'm not like, well, if I'm off, I'm blind. If I'm on, I'm 20/20 after, like, you know, a good arm's distance. Might be good to use a Dremel-like tool with a cutting disc. No, that would be too aggressive to get to remove the supports, Chris. But with one of those, you know, kind of pointy, sandy bits, that is good for apparently for knocking the knocks off. So yeah, I do have one somewhere. A rotary, like not a Dremel. I've got like a rotary tool. I've got a Dremel engraver, funnily enough. So I used to engrave. See, I go through fads all the time. This is the thing. I do go through massive fads. And like, because I used to do engrave. What do you call them? Rune stones. Sorry, this one's being a bit. Oh, mind you, I wonder I can't see. Oh wait there, no, that is off. It just doesn't want to come out. All right. Or is it attached somewhere else? No, it doesn't matter. It's not anymore. Ooh, I'm gonna have to be careful here because there's drips and stuff coming down. Or is it teeth? Right. Oh, that's another thing though. Yeah, what I am thinking of is getting another new printer, but a tool changer. Because if I get a tool changer, I mean, I could technically now print the model in PETG and the supports in PLA, and because they don't bond, you can basically just pull them off. But it would have made this, instead of printing in 14 hours, it probably, you're looking at a week to print it because it's got to swap so many times. But if I get a tool changer, it's still got to do all those swaps, but it's already set up. You've got 4 different tools, so you can have like PETG in 3, PLA in 1 for supports, do a multicolored print and print your supports in PLA. So, you know, there are ways around it, but, you know, and the tool changer is not too expensive. I think it's like between 600 and 800 quid, so it's not a massive expense. I mean, there's some big printers I want to get that, you know, cost close to, well, if not more than the grand. So, you know, for 800 is not too bad, you know. And it's not like I've got family to support or anything like that. So pretty much all my spare money can be spent on me, on my hobbies, or towards the business. Now the main thing holding me back at the moment from starting the business is I have let my fitness, unfortunately, really, I've proper let it go over the past few years because I've been into AI. So I've literally basically just been sitting at a PC for the last 3 years, and I can't even run up the stairs without getting out of breath. My back, yeah, a lot of you know I fractured my spine, and that is ridiculously painful. Like even now I'm in pain, but you know, you just get used to it. But so there's a few things to take into account before I can actually get going. But what I'm really thinking is, you know, if I can get it sorted in a way that I can have one of my daughters helping me out, or both, to actually maybe even do the physical selling part. Because the printing's easy. I can lay in bed, I can, you know, download models, get it all printing without even having to move out of bed, pretty much. As long as I've cleared the plates and stuff. Yeah, because that's the great thing about this business as well, is it doesn't really cost a lot to get into it. Once you've got the printer and the and the filaments, you know, especially with hue forgers don't actually use a lot of filament. I suppose I'll let you into a little secret now. Like basically these cost less than £1 to print out really, and that's taking electricity into account as well. Just purely because of the way they print in layers. You know, it's not doing color changes every time it comes across a color. It's just printing a white layer, white, silver. Oh, that might just be white. Yeah, that's white, silver, and black. So that's just 3 colors to make that image. And like I say, it prints it in layers: white, then silver, then black. And you get your image. Or obviously you can do more colors. There's a 4-color one. Oh, actually, this is a 7-color one. It's got 7 colors in that one, you know. So, but again, it's still all just printed in layers. I can't remember where I started with that now. So yeah, basically the profit margin's ridiculous on it. That's where I was going. Because you know, even if you sold that for £2, you're doubling your money, and I sell these anywhere between £5 and £20. So yeah, at the moment I'm just going off word of mouth. You know, extended friend circles, family circles, that kind of thing. Oh, you know, my missus has really loved this. Oh wow, my boyfriend had really loved that. You know, that kind of business well, it's not even business at the moment. You know, I just charge people basically enough to keep me going. Maybe buy myself another roll of filament, and a lot of stuff I do give away because it's practice. So I'm like, you know, just practicing, getting experience. And it's like, well, you know, I wouldn't in good conscience feel right selling that. It's like, if I removed all the supports from this and then did no work to it, I wouldn't feel, you know, good selling it. But there might be somebody who'd be like, oh, you know what, I could take that on as a project. I'd be happy to remove the notches, give it a paint and stuff. Oh, there you go, you do it. You know, have it for free. It was all practice for me anyway. So that kind of thing happens, but you know, I've made enough to get myself a second printer, so I can't complain. Oh, I should check chat, shouldn't I? Sorry, where did I put my glasses? Because I waffle on, everyone knows I waffle on. Oh, for the bigger cut-offs, yes, right, for the bigger cut-offs the disc might work, yeah, you're right, because then you don't have to be so finesse. Silly question, is it plastic? Yeah, this is PETG, but if you're printing in PLA, which I do get sent like 3 bits of PLA, you know, when you buy machines and stuff, but I've never printed with it. So I'm looking over here because that's where it's stored. And basically, with PLA, I think it's made from a corn derivative, so it's not like from the petrochemical side of things, but I think PETG is. It's deemed safe to print in the house. Now this is a spare room, as you can see. I don't sleep here. This is just a spare room, so we're not in here. I've got windows open for ventilation. Doesn't produce any smell. PETG at least. I've heard PLA can smell a bit sweet and sickly, like syrup or something. But like I said, I've never printed with it. Oh wait, there was another chat there from someone new as well. So yeah, it's all plastics, but different grades of plastics. Oh, who's that? Sorry, I can't read the name. I'm gonna have to. Sorry, you're gonna have to get close up on my face. Who is that? Oh, Madam Medusa! Bloody hell! Definitely long time. Mate, did you not hear? I'm not a flat earther. I've not been a flat earther for years, man. God, years. I don't even think about that stuff anymore. I'm like a total normie now, mate. I work for an AI company, you know. Yeah, yes. Guys, is Flat Earth still going on, is it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate you liking the folklore stuff, and yes, I should have continued with that, especially now because the technology is so much better. You know, but I get caught up, like I say, I go through fads. You know, I went through a music video stage where I was making music videos. I'm trying to think, I went through the epoxy resin stage. Runestone stage, you know, I go through lots of stages. Now this 3D printing is a bit different because up until this point, all I have to do is send a file to my printer and knock it off my printer, and I've got my bit of artwork ready to go. You know, and again, you can argue whether it's art or not. I don't really give a shit at this point. Right? I've had so many arguments with normies who have been programmed to think that AI is like some weird thing that, you know, is incapable of creating artwork, yet every time it's been tested, nobody can tell the fucking difference. You know, and large language models work in almost exactly the same way as the human brain anyway. We predict what, you know, is going to happen next, and that's what large language models do. So if our large language model in our brain can come up with complex pieces of art, then I don't see why a computer can't do it either. I mean, Jackson Pollock used to get pissed and piddle around and drop bits of ink on a fucking paper or bits of paint on a paper. You know, somebody stuck a banana to a wall and it sold for hundreds of thousands, if not millions. But anyway, that's my cope. And yeah, this is basically the most intricate I've had to get so far, you know, with it removing these supports and stuff. It's so hard because hey, first big bit of tree removed. Came as a bit of a shock. I've still got to get a little bit more out of the mouth there. And let's see what we can do here. Oh, actually that bit's coming out pretty easy. But there is like a definite gumpy line stuck in his teeth here. But like I say, the model side of things, this is purely, this is going to have nothing to do with business, this is going to have nothing to do with anything other than pure hobby enjoyment. Like I say, well, maybe you weren't here for but the only tattoo I ever got was when I was 17, and it's a Xenomorph. So as you can tell, probably one of my favourite franchises. So things like this are definitely just, you know, my own personal pleasure and enjoyment. And this was just a test run to see how well it handled the models. As you can see, it's got some definite layer lines going on there, but I printed at a 0.2 layer height. If I've lowered down to a 0.08 or something, you know, I could get rid of a lot of that. Things like that, you know. So this is a little test print because what I'm going to do is make this 6 foot tall. Which would mean having to cut the model up, which is a bit of a pain in itself. Shit. So I've just noticed I have not, oh, is that a tooth? Yeah, it is, but it's, no, is it? Yeah, alright, right, let's see if we can get this on camera, sorry. So, but this is what I'm talking about, well, why I'm practicing and what I need to know. And what I can tell straight off is the teeth are a bit of an issue. The bottom teeth not too bad. Top ones, so especially over this side, they're not even really attached to the model properly. It's almost like they've been treated like supports, like they've got that kind of connection to it. But again, you've got to imagine that, what, 10 times bigger? So it might not be such a problem because these won't be such piddly little nothings, you know? They'll be a lot bigger. Or maybe just, oh, and I've just noticed as well, this hasn't got a, or did it? And I've cut it out. Yeah, it hasn't got the classic inner jaw. I'll have to have a look at the model actually. But anyway, it might not be this model that I print in 6 foot, but it will be a Xenomorph that I'll print in 6 foot. Because to be fair, I'm looking at this now, and just the tail. There's not a lot of detail in the tail. So I imagine if I go even bigger, we're going to lose even more of that detail, especially once I've started sanding it down and using filler and all that kind of stuff to stick the bits, you know, back together without the line showing. So again, consideration, you know, it is what it is. Oh, I should check chat. I've just been sat there rambling for ages and I keep forgetting to check the chat. I do apologise. Are you okay working away, etc.? Hey, are you okay working? Sorry, I've lost any context for that. We're all coming out of the woodwork. Yeah. Oh, what made me go back to globling? Just the pure ridiculousness of flat Earth, to be honest. Caught me at a bad time, you know. I just split up with my wife with 21 years. You know, I was very, very much in a vulnerable state. I call it my midlife crisis, basically. You know, because it's a cult. I mean, it is a cult. Like, every facet of it. You know, and it's only by coming out of it that you realise, you know, by looking back in, you think, what the hell was I thinking? You know? You have to put up with so much bullshit, so much cope. Right, and every single bit of evidence is, no, that's just made up. You know, there's no real like backlash against everything. There's a few inconsistencies in the perception of the scientific belief. But I'm not smart enough to figure that shit out. So basically, I didn't necessarily go back to the globe, I just stopped giving a shit about where the fuck we are. Yeah, the folklore stuff. That might be something I do get back into at some point, because I did enjoy doing that. And not just making the videos, actually researching for it. Because, you know, research, I never used to be able to do research. But nowadays, it's really easy to do research if you use AI correctly. Now, that means not just listening to the AI response, but actually going to the links. You always ask for it to provide links. And then you go off to the links to find out the actual, you know, what's really being said. And look, most of the time, yeah, AI perfectly aligns with it, but there's little bits here and there, you know, where it hallucinates, I think is the AI term, the technical term. So you're just basically checking for them. You're checking for those hallucinations, and once you get them out, you know, I've always been a bit of a storyteller. You know, enjoyed telling stories, enjoyed reading stories, and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was definite fun. I mean, the Gog and Magog one, that was amazing because I had no clue that Britain had ties to Troy. You know, didn't have a goofy gander. So that was fascinating to find out. Yeah, so I say it's support removal, and it is. It's literally just kind of. Now I've got the knack for it. It's easier in the places where don't have to be too delicate, but it is. It's just kind of a you don't really cut into it. You grip it, twist. And let's try and get a fresh bit here that's still stuck to the model. See, fresh bit. Oh, no, that kind of bit too far, and twist, and it's out. Mate, art is art. Not everyone likes everything. Yeah, no, exactly. It's very subjective. And to be fair, I actually don't really. I call it my designs. You know. Even I'm loath to call it artwork purely because I don't see myself as being particularly artistic. I'd never really learned how to draw. I never learned how to paint or, do any of those things. But what I am good with is words. And you can now create art with words. So I just used the tools I was blessed with, basically. Almost seems like it's starting to get attached, like the not just like the support bits, but it looks like this main body has got attached to the model. So it might get a little bit more tricky in there. Like I say, it's all a learning process. This is not bad at all. Like I say, if I wasn't live now, you can stick a movie on and stick some music on, stick an audio book. I do like listening to my audio book still. In fact, I'm on the last book of The Lord of the Rings because I thought I'd grab that on audiobook. So I'm on the last book of that at the moment. And I did the Dune series before then. So yeah, I'll definitely still get me book time in and stuff. So in fact, if anything, I wouldn't say I read more now than I ever have, because back when I was a teenager I used to read a lot, like almost all the time. But nowadays it's so much easier to, listen to an audiobook while you're doing other things. Now you don't have to sit there in one place with a book. You can actually do your hobby and listen to your book. Yeah, no, I do waffle. I do apologise. But to be fair, any of you who really know me know I waffle anyway. And to be fair, at some point I would like to I would still definitely like to write a book on my own. And no, you really can't use AI to write a book. AI is useless at writing books. So other than, I'd probably use it as a proofreader, make sure I've got Oh shit, I've broken a bit of its claw off there. Oh shit, no I haven't, have I? Yeah, this definitely won't be the model I'm printing out because the hands aren't right. The claws aren't off. It hasn't got the protruding inner jaw. But this is going to be, like I say, it's a nice test model. It will sit on the shelf. And I can say I've done it. And I might get the Predator to sit opposite, you know, Aliens versus Predator. Even though I don't completely agree with that franchise, but it is what it is. It's out there. And Predators are pretty cool as well. So I'm back in the filly stage around this hand now, so I'm just going a little bit easier. Right, let's check the chat again. And I will take a break in a second actually, because I am still smoking. Hey, how's it going, Nick? Oh man, glad you could come and join the stream. Unfortunately, since my last video, I don't know whether you watched my last live stream after it's done, but I've trimmed this down a little bit. But I know I always told you I fancied growing a like real big moustache, and I did. I had it all like, you know, done, but I've trimmed it down a little bit now, just to make it a little bit easier, because I can't always be asked to wax it up all the time. But I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope everything's going good with your guitaring and stuff. That's one thing I have let slide a little bit, unfortunately. But you will be happy to know, well, I hope you'll be happy to know, the guitar you gave to me to get me into guitaring is now lent out to my niece, and my niece is getting so good, mate. She can sing and guitar and everything. So while it may not be helping me at the moment, that guitar is bringing joy to another person's life. And like I say, it's still mine, I'm just lending it to her. I need to get these off again. This is ridiculous. I definitely should have gone for the varifocals. Oh, that's one good thing to have glasses on though. For safety. Jesus Christ, that almost took my eye out. Alright, glasses will be staying on from now on. I can't risk my eyesight. But on that note, I'm going to have a quick sip of my drink and I'm going to go have a quick bong. And I shall return. Because unfortunately, I still can't give up the fucking weed. Honestly, it's one last chink in my armour. If I can get rid of the weed, my life will be fucking sorted. Right, 2 seconds, guys. check the chat. Oh, his phone went on. No, I just went for a quick smoke. Right. I probably should put a bit more music on, but I forgot to change the music. To be fair, when I'm waffling, I'm not really listening to it anyway. Yeah, Mick, I hope everything's going well with you anyway, mate. Right, I say. And I do apologise for kind of dropping out of contact. Oh, this is fiddly because that is right on the end of his finger now. Yeah. Right. Hey! Right, so we've got another nice big bit cut off there. So that's both hands released now. We've got his face released. So I'm definitely not happy with his mouth. Yeah, the overhangs in there are not good. Did I just see chat pop up? I did. Hey, excellent, excellent. Oh, my phone pinged, did it? Oh, right, let's have a... Oh, yeah, I just got a notification saying Heels versus Babyface is live in 30 minutes, but I don't watch his live shows. I just watch his videos, because he's funny. Yeah, if you haven't watched Heels versus Babyface and, you know, you're into the geek culture, like I am, then worth a sub. Like I say, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm completely political or anything anymore, but I really don't keep up with things. Like, I watch a little bit of the podcast of Lotus Eaters, and that's about me nowadays. A lot of stuff I do now is basically, well, I spent the last, I suppose 2 years, up to about a year ago, I spent about 2 years learning how to edit. So I can now use DaVinci Resolve pretty confidently for a lot of things. So I can do editing now. So yeah, I basically just watch old TV series, old movies, documentaries, that kind of thing. Because to be honest, I just get too depressed with the state of the world at the moment. I really do. I can't. I've got I don't know. It's just nuts. It's literally like we're living in like fucking through the looking glass, Nothing makes sense anymore. So I'll make sense of my own little life. As I say, I own the domain name Touch My Arts for .uk. So I kind of got a website going, but then I thought, do I really want a website? There's Etsy's out there and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to be fair, alright, I could do it for a website to take on commissions. Because a lot of the work I'll be doing, or hopefully a lot of the work I'll be doing is commission work. And for those that have just joined, yeah, a lot of what I do, like this is hobby, this is business. Oh, alright, this isn't business, this is personal as well. I just turned myself into a ghoul. But this is business. Making window mirror hangers, That's backlit, so if you put it up to light, you know, the details come out a little bit more on that kind of stuff. But you know, I also do, you know, just bits of more arty stuff. Again, more fan art stuff. But I can, as you can see, what I can do here with these ones, and I have done, you know, is personalize it. It's like, you know, AI can be a wonderful tool. It created that, but also, and I haven't got it unfortunately because it's gone for commission. But I took a picture of somebody's adult dog and a picture of the puppy when they were a puppy. Then I put them into AI to create them in a scene together. So they were running down a rainy path together. You know, so I can do things like that. You know, lots of stuff where I'm turning people into their favourite superheroes. You know, that kind of thing. And like I say, the profit margin on it is ridiculous because it is so like takes about 7 hours to print one of those out, but over that 7 hours it costs, you know, less than £1 or maybe about £1 to do one of these larger ones. And like I say, I can sell them anywhere between what, 5 and 20, and I've been told I should be selling them for more. So yeah, so some of the more like arty kind of stuff, that stuff people say I should stick in a proper frame, and you know, you could sell it for 50, 150, 200 kind of thing. But that's not really where I want to go. I'm not, you know, I don't want to be one of these pretentious fucking artists like I've had to deal with. Because I went and did a load of market research, and luckily in Plymouth, you got the Barbican, the old Barbican area, and down there they got loads of galleries with artists and stuff in. So I just went down there to find out about, you know, footfall, what kind of prices they're charging for pieces, what kind of pieces they're doing, that kind of thing. And yeah, the artists are all snobby as fuck. Like, and I think none of them understood that I wasn't trying to sell them my art. Like they're all like, oh, we're not buying it at the moment. We're not buying it. I'm like, I'm not selling. Like, if you offered me money right now, I would not hand over these goods. You know. So, but they're obviously used to a lot of goods. So it's really hard to do the market research needed, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But then, on the complete adverse, you go into like a geek shop like Hive Mind or the Final Frontier, which are two like geek shops in town. And the people are pleasant as hell, happy to help. Some of them offered to, well, one of them offered some, what would I say, some? Yeah, one of them offered to do a trial of selling some of my pieces in there. That's my daughter calling, don't worry, I'll get that later. But like I say, if I'm doing this, I want to do it myself. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to get a few maybe photographers, wedding photographers under my books, that kind of thing. Because this art definitely lends well. I've done quite a few wedding bits. People really love the aesthetic I can create with, again, using AI, because don't get me wrong, wedding photographers are wonderful, but not everyone can afford top class wedding photographers. So if I can take their wedding photos, put it into AI, and basically make them look a lot more professional, then print it out for them for, you know, a tenner, it's a really nice thing to see just how how much people appreciate that little personal touch, you know, because people would charge a fortune, photographers and stuff would charge a fortune to do all the stuff that I do, you know, basically I can do it for free because I work for Leonardo AI. I've got a team account, so I can basically create for free. But even if I couldn't, it's not expensive, and I'd still wouldn't charge too much more. But I'm waffling again. I've completely lost the point I was going down. So if anyone wants to tell me what I was talking about, feel free. Yeah, turn off the news, go outside, listen to the birds sing. The world has gone mad. Yes, well, see, that's the trouble. I don't even get out much anymore because a lot of what I do keeps me inside. Yeah, I missed a couple of good paddleboarding opportunities over the last week when we had the really good weather. You know, bits like that. So, and I haven't been out on the paddleboard once this year. But I am a fair weather outdoors person, so you will only catch me outdoors when it is right. So we've got these on the spikes now. Right, so we'll see if this works. Yeah, just a little twist, and that is now disconnected. We can cut that off there, and it's gone. So like I say, this is a lot easier than I thought it was, but there's so many. Like literally, I don't even think I've done half of the supports yet. So this little stream that I thought, oh, I'll go live for a little while. Won't take long to get this done. It's just going to be a bit fiddly. But then you start and you realise just how much you've got to do. Right. Yeah, alright, right. So here, it has really grown in around that spike there. So the weakest part I think is going to be that spike, so I'm definitely being careful here. But that's right, let's take these off so I can actually see what I'm doing up close. And here I might... no, I didn't really have to like snip in. It kind of gives way before then. It's just a bit of a... Let's cut this away. Get in there and cut this away. If I can, yeah. I need to get into the back of it, and I can't with this support in the way. But I'm not going to be able to get rid of it anyway because it's. Oh, there you go. Right. So I went to the inside. Basically, I cut away a little bit, went to the inside, and did the little twisty thing, and that has separated. Ideal. Is that chat popping up? I just saw something move on the screen then. Yeah, it's definitely getting there. It's definitely getting there, man. Let's try and rip that bit away there. There we go. Another bit of support gone, and as you can see why they call them tree supports. So definitely getting there. That's actually right. I was thinking we'll tackle the front now, but if we tackle the front, it's literally connected all the way around to the back as well. So maybe we'll leave that one till. Oh, mind you, there's not too much to do before then. So yeah, we'll finish this leg off. It's crazy as well. The funny thing is, right, I'm left-handed, but working at Royal Mail for 10 years, they only had right-handed scissors. And it seems, I've just noticed I'm doing this right-handed, so I must have picked up the scissor action. So yeah, alright, I'm right-handed when I use scissors now. Or scissors and wire snips, because that's basically what these are. It's just some wire snips. Well, I say they only had right-handed scissors. Apparently they had left-handed scissors, but I never got a pair. In fact, I've still got the scissors we used to use at Royal Mail, and I do use them a little bit now. Yeah, these are scissors we used to use at Royal Mail to cut the sacks, or the plastic tie that tied the sacks. Right, for chunky things. So yeah, they're actually down with my 3D printing tools. I only just use them for clipping the filament. Oh wait, there's that chat. I mainly just use them for clipping filament, but someone might be able to use those cut-offs, scaled land models and stuff. Yeah. I mean, oh, cheers, man. Have fun. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, no, my mum did suggest as well for like ring holders. But they're not exactly stable. I'm surprised that one stood up, because most of the time, they just fall over. And to be fair, yeah, there's quite a lot of removed material so far. In fact, let's move that back a little bit to actually. Where was I working? I was working on the leg. But it's just coming away from the leg pretty easy, to be fair. And actually, can I? Oh, snap that bit, but nah, yeah, it won't just. It's not weak enough to just pull away. Definitely needs some manipulation. Right, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera or not, but there's a little bit just stuck in there that I've got to try and get off. Oh no, it wasn't as stuck as it appeared. It came off pretty easy, peeled away. But the underhangs definitely are not great. I think it's because I printed at a 0.2mm. So, you know, I haven't gone for high detail. But if I did go for high detail, you know, that's going to push the print time dramatically. Yeah, that's got little supports on its toes. Well, that was just the brim, but it's actually printed some little supports out here. It really didn't need to do that. That overhang angle wasn't enough, surely. Right. Wonder how. Yeah, these ones are tough. These ones aren't like the other ones where you just like, oh wait there, pulled off. Yeah, I think it's because it is attached to a bit of the brim as well, but I can come back and tidy that brim up later. Yeah, basically on the bits that attach to the plate, oh, actually it'd probably be easier to show you the plate because that's where most of the brim's got left. You see the brim's all stuck to the thing, but it just helps it's the model stick without detaching from the plate. Probably don't need them, but it's better safe than sorry. We've done the leg. Oh, we've got this leg to do now. So I'm just cutting this support away from the brim at the moment, so that when it does go, it can go. Definitely. Oh, I don't completely remove it then. Oh, it's alright. It's stuck to the other support there. There. Another big chunk gone. Well, that's a little chunk. Ooh. So I'm starting to worry, I'm getting a little bit too cocky now. I'm bound to break something off in a minute because, the more I'm doing this, because there's some bits that, that are like there, I just snap them off, but there's some bits still slightly attached. So there might be a point where I'll do that, and rather than snapping it, just snaps the model. And this is, oh actually, yeah, I'll tidy that up once I've got this big chunk on because I can't get in there at the moment, whereas when this big chunk's gone I will be able to. Right, you're going to have to go, buddy. Oh, mind you, that goes, yeah, wow, this one, alright, this one stretches all the way up around to the back of his head there, I think. Yeah, that's it now down to his chest. Get in there, try and cut that bit off there. Hey! So, we've just basically done this little bit under here. He's definitely coming out now. Don't know what we'll call him. So, you a Reginald? Possibly a Reginald. Put your suggestions in the chat there if you want. And I will check chat in just a second, just try and get this away from his chest. Oh, mind you, it goes, no, it's not just, it does, it goes all the way down, it's not just his chest. God, this is definitely fiddly. But I kind of like it, like I say, it's weirdly satisfying. Like finally breaking through, you know? It's like, I made it, I got it. So every time I hear that snap, it's like, oh God, was that the model? No, like I say, being a practice piece, it's not the end of the world if I break it. You know, this is filament I don't use for anything else. It's so far I've got like 2 greys, a dark grey and this normal grey. I don't use them for anything because the transmission distances on them aren't great for Hue Forges, because basically the way Hue Forges work is, oh, that's not going to stand up anymore. Basically, different filaments, they're all the same sizes, but they have different opacities basically. So the TD value is how much light can go through the filament, or how much filament does it take to stop light going through it. So a TD value of 0.1 means that 0.1 millimeter of material is all it takes to stop the light, whereas something higher, maybe a 4.6, means it would take 4.6 millimeters before it would stop the light completely. So by doing that, that's how you get the different textured blues, or the different shaded blues and stuff in here. You know, it's because of the way the lights penetrate in it to the layer below, and that, I suppose that's where a bit of the artisticness comes in, because you getting these images printable, it's not just a matter of sticking it in and going, oh, make it printable. No, you've got to add the colours in the right layers, you've got to twiddle things here and twiddle things there. It's not just put it in and done, you know. So don't think it's easy, because it's certainly not. Yes, Mick, you can print at different angles to minimise supports, but with this one it really didn't matter how I printed this one, it was always going to need support. So basically what I thought was, it's better to have the supports on the underside of things so that they're more hidden if I do decide to just leave it as a model. So that was my thinking. But when I print these out, you know, as full-size, life-size models, then what I'll have to do is chop pieces up, and that will make the support usage a lot less, because I'll be dealing with bigger chunks that will be, you know, if I printed, like if I cut that foot off, that wouldn't need supports at all, because of the gentle slope there. I mean, it might put a little bit of support in under here actually, because I'm seeing a little bit there. But apart from that, the rest of that leg would print without supports and stuff, you know. So again, it's, yeah. Once I get to the chunkier bits, there's going to be less supports needed. It's only because that's such a complex model with so many overhangs, like it's such a pain in the neck. Was there any other comments actually? No. Right. So yeah, and that's another thing I am going to have to learn as well. Yeah, which way to orientate models for support generation, but also time as well, and strength. Because obviously printing it like that, because it's printing in layers going up, the weakest part's always going to be the horizontal. Whereas if you print it kind of like just an offset, say, you'd probably use a lot more supports, but you'd print a much stronger model, because the layer lines wouldn't be horizontal, they'd be more evenly distributed about the whole model. So yeah, there are definitely tricks and yeah, little things like that that make a massive difference. I'm trying to... Oh, that's right, I'm at the front, not the back. There we go. But it's definitely a good hobby. Yeah, so, like I say, apparently I've got into 3D printing at just the right time as well, because like I say, pretty much any printer you get nowadays, as long as you know it's a relatively new model, they're all relatively easy to use with minimal kind of tweaking and stuff. In fact, the new one, I haven't done any tweaks on that one. All I've done is print once I put it together. I didn't do any calibrations. I used the built-in settings for the filaments that I've got, and the settings seem to work okay as well with the... Because I don't just use... Basically my machines are from Anycubic, and most of my filaments are from Anycubic, but there's a few, like this orange one, that are from Sunlu. But they seem to work just as well with the Anycubic settings. Basically, probably shouldn't try doing that again. Yeah, that worked okay. Right, so basically what I did there is the supports are hollow, and so I just reached into the hollow bit, kind of got it without trying to cut, and just kind of pulled, and it snapped away. I don't think it's going to do it on this bit, but that's how I did that last bit. So again, this is all a learning experience. It seems pretty much, as long as I don't grab hold of the model by accident, you know, on these tougher bits, I don't think there's going to be too much of an issue of just kind of getting in there and doing a nice aggressive twist and pull. At the same time, this is stuck in so many places that I don't see why it needed to be stuck to it, because there's no real overhangs. And I'll click the option to say if it's just a small overhang, not to generate a support, but these are manually generated supports as well. So another thing I might want to learn to do is add my own supports, because that way I could, again, yeah, definitely limit down on the amount of support usage. And that's really stuck to the body. Right, if I can't move. There. Right. Right. Hey. There you go. See, I risked it there. I went for it because I thought, if I'm just, oh, mind you, that actually, all right, to be fair, that wasn't attached with as many places as it is at the front. It was only attached at the top and at the bottom, so I got lucky there, I think. But let's see if I can do a little, because again, I don't want to do too much like forcing for. No, that's no, it's a little bit too tough. It is attached in too many places under here. So again, let's snap that bit off. Right, if we snap. So it's actually really hard to get in under there with these. So I'm trying to get basically a bigger bit off here. Oh, I thought that was his tail gone then, because without my glasses that looked like one big clump. I thought I'd clock that, but no, that okay, that came off okay. No, still getting to this body's not going to be easy. Wait there. Wait there. Have I just made massive progress there? Maybe it did loosen it, me trying to snap that big bit off. Yeah, apparently this is a lot easier with PETG because PETG, a lot easier with PLA, but I print with PETG, and PETG is a little bit tougher than PLA apparently. So and that's kind of why I chose it. It's got better heat resistance as well. Yeah, printing these out in PLA, apparently if you leave them in the sun they just melt. So PETG, you know, I can leave them out in the garden if you want. As you can see, they're pretty, you know, sturdy. I wouldn't stick them in the dishwasher, but you know, you could definitely wash them in a sink with some warm water. Wow, this is really stuck in and it's proper into his chest now, so it is actually getting hard to remove some of these. Just getting the angle to get in and get the little twist going is getting harder and harder. I think at some point I am just going to have to risk doing another, yeah, there we go. Please. Oh, damn. So yeah, I'll be printing these in a much, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera to be honest, but the yeah, the overhangs there are awful, absolutely awful. But that's at a 0.2mm layer height. Like I say, I think maybe a 0.08mm layer height will add in a shit ton of time to the actual printing, will result in much better overhangs, I'm hoping. Because that is, but mind you, again, it'll be cut up differently, so if I print that, yeah, again, yeah, just printing angles and stuff could help on this one as well when I've cut the model up. But again, I won't be using this model anyway. It's not quite detailed enough to go up to a full size. It's quite limited. Yeah, quite limited on the small details, to be honest. Right, oh, he's got a little willy. Let's take his little willy off. You know, a drone, you are not supposed to have sexual organs. That's for the Queen. Right, removed his alien penis. Now he's got some Klingons going on here. God, sort your gooch out, mate. God, that's awful. Have some pride, man. Alright. He's had a crack and sack now, or sack and crack, back sack and crack, and he's ready for his photo opportunities. Oh, sorry. Plastic. And go in the other bin. Yeah, basically I've got a bin for like plastic waste. Well, again, I don't like calling it waste because I wouldn't have this model if it wasn't for these supports. So I don't really see the supports as waste if they're integral in model making. It's a byproduct, maybe. A useless byproduct after the fact, but you know, like I say, it definitely was integral in making the model. Well, let me check the chat quick because I do keep forgetting. Sorry, I'll start waffling to myself, getting caught up in the moment. He's a circumciser now, yeah. He is Jewish. Right. In fact, yeah, that's the front bit removed now, so... just going around. Apparently I disconnected there apparently, but we've got basically just his tail now and up under his head to do. God, that bit of the tail is going to be a nightmare. Right, let's get these off again so I can actually see what I'm doing. Again, we'll go for that spiky one, just a little twist. That. Twist. Hey, all right, little bit of brute force, and it went. So it's no longer attached to that spike. I think if we come up from basically, I'm just trying to detach it now from the bit that's going to under his head. Although I imagine that's a pretty tough area. I might try breaking that in a minute. That's kind of, oh no, I don't want to do that here because I don't want to rip the tail off. I'm sure in my slicer, which is the software that allows the model to be 3D printable from digital files, basically it said, I think I used 100 grams of support material to do this, and the model itself was 179 grams, so you know, about a third of this model is just the support material. Oh, I don't think that's even attached to his, yeah, that's all come apart already. Nice. It's just, I might have to cut it to get it out from the actual model itself, because he's got this like bit on the back of his neck coming out, but it's definitely detached. I just need to find a way to get to the support to cut it so I can. See, it's attached on either side. Ah, there we go. See, you know, I mean, that's not going to show up on camera, but that isn't too bad underneath there at all. So why can't all the supports be like that? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's nowhere near as bad as some of the areas. Oh! There we go, so it's now, now we can get to this bit now. I couldn't get to earlier. Let's tidy up his leg here. Oh, these are stuck in there. Oh wow, I almost stabbed myself then. Go a bit of a safer angle, shall we? Yeah, because these are pretty sharp. So I wouldn't want to stab myself with them because that would hurt. Hey! Alright, that was pretty aggressively onto his leg there, but that came off. So now we're just down to the tail area. Yes, it's all coming away pretty easy, but down here, I'm not sure whether that's going to come away so easy. But we'll see. Definitely stuck in there, but once you release it, I mean, it's definitely not like hard to release, but it's more just finicky angles now. Hey. No, that's not too bad, But yeah, there's definitely not enough detail in this model for it to go full size. What I might have to do is pay somebody to make me a decent model. I'm definitely not adverse to paying people to do stuff like this if I want to be doing it for a hobby. Now, if I'm doing it for my business, I'd rather I was coming up with the designs and stuff, because, you know, it's just my stuff. But for a hobby, I definitely don't mind outsourcing. So, yeah, it's pretty solid actually. I'm just thinking I was expecting once the supports to go for the tail to not feel quite so solid, but it's actually like it's really solid. I'm not liking the. Oh no, the underhangs on this are awful. Right, actually, before we do the last bit, let me just check the chat again. Are you going to paint it? This one, I'm not sure, to be honest. If I do it, this will be a practice paint, because I'm not somebody who's ever really done any model painting before. I see people who do paint seem to have most success with airbrushing. So, you know, I'd have to buy an air compressor to run the air. Do you need an air compressor to run an air gun? I don't know, but, you know, so I'd have to buy more equipment for that, then learn the techniques and all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind doing that. And I definitely have the time to do it. It's just, I don't know if I want to learn another skill. You know, I honestly, I've literally, in order to do this AI stuff, you know, I've literally basically just been learning for 3 years. I may as well have been in university, you know. It's crazy. So I don't know whether I want to. I want to go down that route, but yeah, for bigger models, I'm going to have to paint anyway. It's because if I do the big full life-size ones, then yeah, I'm going to want them to look decent. So yeah, no, it's definitely something I'm going to have to learn at some point. But just how well the paint job needs to look, that could be up to interpretation. You know, because I'm a big fan of good enough, you know. Right, don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. That's me. Hey! That actually came... Oh, actually, no, he's got a little bit on his foot here. I thought that was the last one. Right, I need to tidy up the brims, but apart from that, that is... Yay, that is all the supports removed. Ha ha ha, you beauty. That is awesome. I'm well chuffed. Let's see if he actually stands up. Will he stand up on that? Oh. Nah, he's a little bit front heavy. Damn. Oh. that's a shame. So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You stand up on here? Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to maybe cut a little hole in there and stick some a bit of plasticine or something for a hole in there to add a bit of weight to the tail, or lean it up against something, I suppose. But yeah, unfortunately, damn it doesn't stand up. But no, that I'm well happy, considering like that wasn't just a straight up print. I had to bring the model in, rescale it. I'm definitely learning a lot, mainly in layer heights. Like if you want to be getting decent, I'm wondering. Well, to be fair, I don't know for sure. What I'll have to do is maybe print this out at 0.08 layer height and see if these overhangs improve. Because that would be a sanding nightmare to get rid of all those marks. But looking at it like that, there's a little bit of fuzz under his arm here that I'd want to sand down. Yeah, a little bit under his arm there that I'd want to sand down. Maybe some bits here. But other than that, just looking at him, straight on, he's alright. I'm well chuffed. I'm actually really happy. It's a first. Let's put something under his knee. Yeah, there we go. Just a little something under his knee and he stands up. And there we go. I've tried to keep all the mess on the table there, so that's all the supports that went. Oh no, there's a little couple, knocked him over, but there's a couple more bits there of supports for, and another bit's just fallen off. But the point, yes, there's a lot of waste material, but that's, as far as I'm concerned, a mindset thing. If your mindset is I need that to create the model, then it's not waste. It had a purpose. So yes. So I've learned it's not too bad taking off supports. It's easy to scale a model, but small models, the detail doesn't always translate up in size, because he's put, the person, whoever created this model, they've put a decent bit of detail in the crinkles of the foot there, like up around the legs here and stuff, but it's just not overall, a full kind of detail, especially the tail. The tail is such a letdown. It's kind of no real detail on it at all, apart from it having a relative shape of a xenomorph tail. So yeah, definitely want to find a model that's worthy of it, and like I say, if it comes to it, I will pay someone, a little bit of money to make a decent model, or refine a model, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that do it on Fiverr. I doubt it'll cost me a $5, but you get the point. Oh, that was a good little learning experience there. It can be done, but I definitely prefer doing hue forges with, like I say, with my little hue forges. Basically, you can always see the texture there where the light's getting on it, but that's just where there's some bad finished layer line. Oh, is it? Or is that part of it? No, that's just bad layering at the end there. See that'd be one I wouldn't want to sell, basically. You can see the vibration lines in it. You can see way too much of these top layer lines in the sky there. That angle, you can get there, yeah, you can really see the mess in that corner. So that one I wouldn't sell, I'd be quite happy to stick up on my wall. But yeah, these are, like I say, these are so much easier to do. You just literally just choose your colour in layers, it prints it in layers. Like I say, 5 to 10 hours later you've got yourself a nice little bit of artwork. And like I say, with what I do, because I work for an image generation company, I mean I must have generated probably 100,000 images in the last 3 years at least. So it's, you know, it's nice to actually see them not just be a digital image on a screen, but to, you know, actually be able to hold stuff in your hand. You know, and I'm a massive geek, so I love all that stuff, you know, and doing these little bits here, you know, you add the thing in, and like I say, sat against a window, or well, let's show this one. You know, sat against a window, all shaded in, you know, and then it comes to night time. It's not backlit anymore, and all the colours come out. But to be fair, that's only 4 colours on that one. What I'm doing now is going back and reprinting them with more colours. So look, they see up against the window, you know, it acts. Those colours start acting as the highlights against the silhouette. And then, like I say, night time you get a different picture because all the colours come out. So you're basically getting 2 in 1 on those backlit images. And I've got loads of those types. I mean, and to be fair, that's backlit as well. This one here, you know, it's printed with back, but again, first layer didn't go down well on that one. You can see it's really didn't go down too well, but that's printed on the older printer. These ones on the newer printer, the first layer's flawless. You know, again, these, yeah. And obviously living in the country, there's lots of people that are into their horses and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and this is just the ones I've got at hand in here. And a lot of these, you know, this was back before I realised I could print a loop to it. I was drilling holes and tying a bit of ribbon, you know. Again, a bit of fan art there. Fan art there. Oh, coasters as well. Yeah, I can do coasters. Little sandwires there. All I need is a little bit of cork, you know, stick on the bottom there, and because it's PETG, it's pretty decent heat resistance, especially with a bit of cork underneath, you know, it's not going to warp or anything. So little sandwires. But I printed out basically 4. I did all 4 hobbits. So I've got Frodo, Sam, Pippin and Merry, so you get, like, you know, 1 of each in a set. But they're printed quite a bit thicker than the Hue Forges, so they do, you know, so they have got quite a bit of rigidity by themselves. Not fan art, this is just an image I came up with myself. Well, actually, this one here was one of my favourites. As you can see, it's almost like I've used glow in the dark kind of filaments on that one. How these are showing up on camera, I don't know, but you know, it's one of those things when you see them in real life, you're like, oh wow, you know, I should have stayed up at the window. Qui-Gon Jinn, my favourite Jedi. Again, that's a backlit one, and that really glows. Sorry, let me check chat on. Good job. Oh, they look top notch. Yeah, cheers, man. No, thank you. Like I say, there's a slight bit of skill involved. You know, it's not completely simple. As that showed up the texture nicely there. Yeah, and to be fair, I do prefer working in like this kind of monochromy black and white. But basically, what I do there is there's 4 colours. I'll use a black as the base. Then you go up to a textured silver, and I use textured silver as my grey because it's got a good transmission distance. Then I'll use like a layer of beige, and then a layer of white, and that's where you get, you know, all the the nice finer details from it. And you can really get some detail in there. Again, you're not probably going to see this on camera, but that's a whole like city in the background there, you know. And you can see it in real life. You know, you look at it, you can see it. The camera, unfortunately, just doesn't do it justice. Oh, this is an old piece. This is before basically they print really thin. So I started printing borders and stuff because the borders stay out, so it adds rigidity to it, so it's not nowhere near as flexible. But you know, and like I say, because of the transmission distance, you see these different coloured blues. That's all one blue, but because of the way it interacts with the white on top of it, you get your different shades, and that's how you can get the multiple colours by just using 4 simple colours. And like I say, I'd say all of those ones I've shown you are AI generated. You know, I create them all with AI. You know, again, I'm into my fan fiction, so this is Aerith Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Oh, there you go. Very fitting for the stream. Sigourney Weaver morphed with an alien. So, you know, like I said, there's so many different designs. I've got a couple more here, I think. They're just reprints because these are quite popular ones. And this is my own version of Gandalf versus the Balrog, basically. So, yeah. That's all I've got at hand. Like I say, most of them are pretty much as soon as they're done, they're off to the new owners. I'm on the, if any of you are on Discord, join the HueForge community, you know, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, because there's lots of people that are doing lots of decent stuff, and I'm just a small part of the cog, you know. But yeah, HueForge, that's the name of the software that you use to turn a 2D image into a 3D printable item. And like I say, it really is textured, you know. The cap really pops out there because the black's the highest layer there. Light boxes, exactly. In fact, that's my next project, Mick, is to get into like Tinkercad or Fusion 360 and make a light box, a panelled light box, because basically, where's that Qui-Gon Jinn one? So with this one, what I'd want to do is, you know, that fit, get some LEDs in the back, done. But what I can also do is do like a square with an LED in the middle, so you've got like a panel there, panel there, panel there, panel there, panel on top as well. All different images, you know. So I need to basically be able to make it so that the panels can be interchangeable, is what I want to do. So, you know, people can come back to my stall and, you know, just buy a new panel to slot into their light box. So yeah, that is definitely something I will be looking into. But that's a little bit more tricky, because again, then I'm going to have to try and learn how to use like Tinkercad or Fusion 360. And well, they're not particularly difficult. Again, I'm literally mentally, I am kind of I'm on the decline, so learning isn't as easy, but we're getting there. You know, I'll learn what I need to. But I think I've yapped enough. I've definitely been live for a while now. It's been fun catching up. Don't know if we still got a way of getting in touch with each other offline, Nick, but maybe it'd be good to have a, you know, proper catch up again. But that is me done. I will just ramble. There's nothing else to really ramble about. Like I said, I'm starting a new business, got a new hobby, and that's the thing. If as well, it's kind of not even a business. You know, I'm going to be printing this even if I end up, you know, not selling them, because I enjoy this stuff myself. But the trouble is, I'll soon run out of space to place it all. But yeah, I was certainly printing these long before I decided to turn it into a business. Yeah, the only real obstacle at the moment is insurance. Basically, if I get myself some insurance for personal liability, then I can pitch up at a market stall, you know, as long as I get their permission, and I can start running it. But it's getting that personal liability. So what I really want to do, my actual plan is, you know, do like a church fete, school fete kind of thing, where you don't need the insurance, you can just turn up with your pitch, just to see how it runs person to person, see if I can, you know, get the sales on the day. And if that even works out a little bit, then, you know, moving up to paying more expensive pitches at geek fests, and maybe even a permanent stall in Plymouth Market or something. But, you know, early days, it's all exciting. I'm a bit too old for early days, but yeah. Right, let me just frame with early. Yeah, man, definitely. Well, I work from home, so I am pretty much free all the time. Evenings are definitely better, as always, but that's just because I still haven't got the knack of getting up early. It's ridiculous. Sometimes I go through patches now, though, where I do, but most of the time I end up, yeah, up all night, sleeping all day. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll always do this. So, if you're watching later, thanks for putting up with my rambles. For you now, definitely thank you for putting up with my rambles. Mick, we'll definitely have a chat soon. I'm assuming Annie maybe still in the background, or Madam Medusa. Thank you for being here, or if you haven't, don't worry. Time is valuable, and I am not exactly giving a lot of value for money at the moment. So, I'm going to say bye, because I'll ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble. Thank you everyone for watching. I had a great fun. Hope you enjoyed. Well, yeah, Reginald. He's Reginald. He's Reginald. Reginald the Xenomorph. And I'll catch you on the next one, folks. Cheers, mate. Oh, just caught that in time.